Hello everyone, welcome to Top of the Stack MTG. I'm putting together a second video tonight because of a couple strange things that have happened. Number one, Felidar Guardian got emergency banned. I don't have a lot to say about it. Standard is in a weird spot, so this will really help. It's a little strange how it came about. They didn't want to do it, but then everybody was on Twitter and on Facebook and everything, just saying a lot of negative stuff. So then they decided, fine, we'll go ahead and do it. It's probably for the best. They probably should have done it in the first place, I guess. But they have more information than we do. So it's hard to say. It's weird that they caved. I'm not sure what that means, but I guess in the end they just figured, because the only thing that could save Standard with Felidar Guardian would be if the people who are going to participate in the Pro Tour build decks that will get rid of it. And the majority of the feedback from those people was, we can't beat it. We're just going to build that deck. So I guess that's probably where it came from, is they realized that even if there are answers now for that situation, it might just be easier to just play that deck rather than just try to build a deck that is only designed to beat that, and then you lose to vehicles or whatever other strange deck is out there because your deck is only designed to beat that. So people aren't going to like that variance, so they're just going to build the cat combo deck and run with it. I guess they got the information they needed. They realized that banning it was the only way to change the format. So that's interesting. Strange and interesting. So hopefully this Pro Tour is going to be very exciting with a bunch of new crazy Amonkhet stuff. The second important thing, the professor made this awesome video about Modern being too expensive and how those prices needed to come down so more people could get into Modern. Very well constructed, well argued. He's excellent. A very great video. In the end, he kind of cited some solutions, I think, that other people must have brought up that he, of course, doesn't in any way agree with. I'm going to just read the best I can exactly what, this isn't a direct quote, but it's pretty close, okay? At the end of the video, he says, Frontier is not going to replace Modern. Legacy will not see the reserve list revoked. We cannot start over. So he just wanted to get it out there. Anybody who was thinking to themselves, all we got to do is make Frontier, then Modern will just go away, and we won't have to worry about it anymore. At least that's how I'm taking it. Anyone who's thinking that is dead wrong. Okay? I want to make it very clear, as a person who really supports Frontier and can't wait for them to get it together, I know wholeheartedly it will not in any way affect Modern. Modern will go on just fine, just like Legacy does, just like Vintage does, just like Commander does. I mean, there's a lot of formats. Every time Wizards of the Coast gets behind a new format and really sticks it out to make sure that the thing works, it's financially incredible for them. It's very successful. Modern was a brilliant idea. Standard was a brilliant idea. Legacy was brilliant. All of these formats that Wizards of the Coast have created are ways to keep people playing who started in a specific time, but also to keep people looking forward to the new sets so that they can use those cards to make the time that they started even better. Frontier will happen. I mean, if you went 100 years in the future and looked at Magic the Gathering, I do believe it'll still be around. They are geniuses at making money. I don't know how they, I don't know how, but they make money. They're incredible at that aspect, and they've made an incredible game. A genius game combined with the ability to tweak things so that you're always making money. Incredible. They're going to be around, okay? In 100 years, when you look back, they're probably going to have like 9 formats, right? It's just going to keep growing the way it has been growing for the last 25 years. The same things are going to happen. So, of course, there's going to be a new format. I don't know if it'll be in 3 years. I don't know if it'll be this June when they make their new announcement for the 25th anniversary. I don't know. I'm hoping it will be kind of sooner than later, because right now it's becoming very noticeable that new cards just aren't worth money. It just doesn't matter. The new cards don't matter. When I try to go to game shops and buy singles, they don't really stock them. It's hard to get singles for Shadows over Innistrad because they're not going to buy 10 boxes and tear them open and try to sell off the singles at 25 cents each because they're basically worthless. You know, there's a real lag in the need for these cards. Now, it does balance itself because they're releasing like Modern Masters and these other kinds of sets that cater to the older formats, and they're charging $10 a pack. And people are buying them like gangbusters. People really enjoy those. And I totally respect that. There's no reason they should stop that. It's just a tiny bit awkward because I feel like, no, I don't feel like, I know that their goal is standard. Standard is where they want people to focus. And selling Modern Masters and not having a supported format that helps new cards that are created beyond standard really hurts players when their deck rotates out and then they're stuck. There's a lot of new players. I just made a big video. You guys have probably watched it. I just made a big video about how you should start getting into Magic. And the one thing I talked about is don't buy any of the sets that are about to rotate, because in the fall we're going to lose 4 sets. It's a huge rotation. And people who are starting now who haven't seen that video are going to get burned. They're going to go buy Gideons, the older Gideons. They're going to make a deck, and in 5 months, that money is gone. So that's a tough thing to not say, but at least you can play Frontier. It's okay. Get another get another standard deck so that you can continue to play standard. Keep your Gideons and this deck and play it in Frontier. You'll be great. Because that's what they used to say with Modern, right? As soon as things rotated, you just moved them over into your Modern collection instead of your Standard collection. You can't do that now. There's this gap between Standard and Modern where these cards are just worthless. They're falling through the cracks. And that's a very bad thing because they will lose new players. And the minute they support that format, those players are going to stay in the game. They're going to take their standard decks. They're going to go play Frontier with them. They're going to play standard. And maybe, just maybe, 6 months down the road, they're going to buy a Modern deck. It's not going to hurt Modern in the slightest. So, I just wanted to bring this up because the professor made that very interesting, important statement at the end of his argument, and I wanted to back him up by saying, no, Frontier is not in any way going to replace Modern or Vintage It's not going to hurt anything. People are going to play the cards that they started playing with. That's where their nostalgia takes them. No one that's playing vintage is going to go, finally, I can dump all this junk and go play a real format Frontier. That's insane, right? It would never in a million years happen. And I could kind of see the fear when they had vintage and they were talking about legacy, right? Like, ooh, are these, what would this do to this one? Was it, I get that. But it's so late now. I mean, I don't even know all the formats, right? I'm talking about 5 of them, and I don't even know them all. And there have been ones that failed. It's important to note that as well. And I'm sure that's part of the reason that Wizards of the Coast is hanging back about creating this new format to come right on the heels of Standard. Because they've failed in the past. If you try to do it too early, or if you try to change the rules of the game, I feel like that's the big kicker. If you're changing the rules of the game, right? Like Commander. I'm amazed that Commander has done as well as it has. So, please don't tout Frontier as some kind of weird replacement for broken formats or some strange thing. It's none of that. It is simply a way for us to play with the cards that we love once they rotate out of Standard. That's it. Just like Modern, just like Legacy, just like Vintage. It's just a way for us to focus on the cards that we like so that they have a little bit of value, so that people come into game shops with decks from this time period so that we can sit down and play with them. It's just a way that we can continue to play Magic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and have a great night.